Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about how to Patreon as an artist. This is the second video. If you're interested in watching the previous video, click on the link in the description. Today I want to talk about what kind of rewards you can give to your fans so that you can attract them, retain them, and earn more money on Patreon so you can support yourself as an artist. And in the process of setting up our own Patreon account, I did research on all kind of possibilities. What can you offer to your fans? This is a very interesting and important matter because it works like this. In any other social media, they can consume your art, they can talk to you, they can interact with your community and other fans for free. This time you're asking them to pay, right? So you really need to give them really good reasons and give them the attention and give them the perks that they feel is worthwhile to pay and commit every single month to support you, so to make your dream come true. I mean, having other people paying for your dreams, this is the ultimate dream come true. So you need to give back the equivalent of what you think you're receiving to make it fair. Otherwise, they will find out that, hey, you're not reacting, you're not giving them attention, so why keep paying, right? You're not giving enough incentives. So I'm going to give you some examples and the different kind of categories on what kind of rewards you can offer to your fans. There's no golden rule for every artist. It's different because you attract different kind of people, different fans. So you have to pick out what are the best for you and what makes sense. I hope this video can help you choose quickly what kind of things are right for you. Number one, physical rewards. Who doesn't love gifts? Gifts are totally the best thing you could give to someone on a special occasion. It could be birthdays, anniversary, and life and death. Everything is celebrated through gifts. I think that in every country, every culture, there is a gift economy. So your fans would love to receive some personalized gifts, like physical objects, and they can collect and they can show off to their friends to say, hey, I support this really cool artist and look what I get this month. You can decide to send every month or every quarter or every year. It's up to you. Also, depending on how much they pledge, you can decide, okay, for $5 it's a postcard every season, for $50 it's a poster every month. You are the boss in this case and you decide what makes sense, and they can give you feedbacks, but you are the one who have to fulfill the order, so you have to make it realistic and make sure that you're okay doing it and they are okay. I'll give you some examples. Postcards, art prints, art merchandising like t-shirts and mugs, sketches, original works of art. It only makes sense if your fans are close to you, in the same region or same country. Otherwise, there are a lot of logistic problems. And for example, it can be with the clearance, with the aduana, the customs, that they say, hey, you're sending valuable items, you need to pay taxes on that. So your fans or you have to do this custom duties, and it can be complicated, and it can be costly and also time consuming. Finally, it may be not worth it to send through internationally. Also, the postage can be very high. Just last week, I sent something to the UK from Spain, which is literally across the sea, if not across the land, if you count Gibraltar. For a small package under 2 kilo, they charged me $30, and I have to say that for the distance, it's kind of ridiculous, but this is what it is. So if you're sending internationally, it can be very complicated or more complicated than you think. The second thing is that it produces a lot of carbon footprint. If you're environmental conscious, if you are just a normal conscious human being, maybe you're thinking, hey, I'm spending money, I'm making products, I'm making emission, and maybe they don't even get this product because it can be damaged or lost on the way. Is that worth it, right? On top of that, if you're sending original works of art, the insurance is an issue. You don't want to spend too much on special insurance to move that original works of art. But if you don't insure it, then if it's lost, who bears the cost? So all these issues you need to take into consideration before offering them the things, because one day if you change too much and they will be like, hey, this is not something I signed up for, I'm not going to continue pledging for this artist. So you need to think about The next thing you can consider is to give something digitally. You don't need to spend to produce the things, and you don't need to spend on postage wherever they are in the world, and how many fans, however many they are, you can fulfill the orders within a click. And this is very handy, and you are having almost no carbon emission in this case. Totally, I would say if you are digital artists, visual artists, do digital rewards instead. It can be a very interesting thing, and it can be even more interesting to your fans depending on what kind of things you offer. I will give you some examples. High resolution images, PDFs, time-lapse videos, tutorials, layered PSD files, podcasts, behind the scene videos. It can be really literally anything you can think of. There are some problems though, like if you give a manipulatable project file or template to your fans, maybe they will use it, or their friends can have access to it and they can use it in a way that you don't want. So it can be a copyright infringement. So you need to be extra careful who the files you give to and what kind of protections you give on the file. You can have a lock on the PDF not to have a printing or manipulation. You have to think before just letting any other person access your files. It could be another thing is that you need to remove the access from any other social media so that you can make it special for your patrons. Like previously, maybe you are posting things on YouTube, but you want to make behind the scene videos exclusive for Patreon, so you have to kind of not posting it on Facebook or YouTube anymore. So you keep it just for your patrons. Then it comes to a different issue, is that if you promise to make those videos for your fans, and then you have only maybe 1 or 2 person pledging that particular tier for the behind the scene videos or private message videos, that means you have to produce that just for that 2 people. Is that worth it? If you don't produce it, then you are eating your own words. It's not very nice for the credibility. So it's kind of a sunk cost of time if you have too few fans. On the opposite side, if you have too many fans, then this is totally the positive thing. So the scalability is a sword with 2 blades. The next thing is kind of a hack. It's very interesting that right now we are thinking to do, and we are doing it on our Patreon currently, is to give time. Time is the most valuable resource you will have, because every single moment you have will never have again, and every single day towards the end of your life, like it's not going to be repeated. So if you're giving your time to your fans, this is really giving something special, and you are deepening the community. You are like, widening it. You are like, the whole point of being on Patreon is to be able to make that bond with your fans on a whole new level. So spending time with them is totally the way to do it. I know that Patreon is not intended to be a platform for exchange of time for money, like, coaching or tutoring or like any kind of consulting. It's not intended for that. But I think this hack is not a bad way. This is also very good for your public image, because you're showing that you are spending time with your fans. It shows that you actually care about your fans. I will give you some examples on how you can spend time. One-on-one coaching, video streaming, video call, voice call, group call, meetup. It can be a physical meetup with your fans in a space or in an event of your choice. It can be also very interesting to meet your fans in a fair or in a show. There are some problems though, like it's not super scalable, obviously, because you have only 24 hours a day. If you spend too much time doing this, you're not gonna have time for creating art, for spending time with your family, or like leisure, just like, to meditate. Even to meditate and to sleep, you need time. Eventually, if you're doing too much of this kind of spending time thing with your fans, you can have a burnout, and then it's another issue. On top of that, if you are a very attractive female or male, I don't want to be sexist in this case, if you're an attractive young person and your art is somehow risque, you can project an image of you exchanging your time for some kind of adult content service. It can be misleading. So if you're not doing that, you have to make sure that you emphasize on your Patreon that you are not doing, home cam thing when you are doing like group call, private call. It's for, intellectual, it's for like, art and discussion only. You should make that clear. Otherwise, it's like the PR is against you. Like people can misunderstood you, and you can feel like totally upset with the situation. Last but not the least, there's another thing very interesting as a reward, that is the privilege and honor. Usually people pledge for $1, $2, and $5 only. Like how much you can buy with just $1? Almost nothing. Okay, like you can buy something. Like for example, I just bought this slice of pizza for actually 120. I mean, like you can buy things, but it's not enough to produce something special for your fans just with $1. In this case, sorry, I shouldn't talk with food in my mouth, but let me finish this. You can just say a big thank you and list their names on your projects to say that you are supported by your fans. And that's cool. Like you don't actually need to give anything digital or physical in return to have them supporting you, but you do need to acknowledge their support, because otherwise why they're supporting you, right? Like they can just follow you on Instagram. So you do need to make that distinction. I'll give you some examples on what kind of honorary gifts that you can give. Mention on your website, mention on your social media, follow their social media, rolling credits, early access to certain content, access to historic content, invited to your art shows, or their names appear on your art book or on your website. There are some problems though, like if they are just ordinary people or individuals, that's great. But maybe they represent a certain religion, company, belief, or a certain kind of political standing point. And by mentioning them and by giving them shout out and big hugs and thank yous, it can be against your personal beliefs or interests. So it's not always that comfortable for you to acknowledge their support, their presence, their relation to you, like out loud and open. It can also be some technical issues, like if you say I'll put your link on my website, maybe their links are from a website of very weak domain authority, and it's gonna actually hurt the performance of your website. And also it could be like 100 supporters and you don't have the space to write 100 names and 100 links. So there are some technical and emotional problems related to giving honors, like acknowledging the association with your fans. It's up to you. Maybe you can always like play with the possibility of giving that credit, giving that honorary mention on your book, but not like promising it. There's no magic formula and there's no guaranteeing on how you can set up. You can just play with it, and there's always learning curve through trials and fails. I would totally encourage you to see other artists how they're doing it, and maybe click on our Patreon to see how we do it. I know that it's not perfect, but we always try and improve. And we choose the model of spending time mainly because we love spending time with our fans, and I think it's a mutual learning process. We're not just spending time to tell others what to do, because then we can just have an e-course, e-book, that serve the purpose. But the fact that we see how artists perform, what kind of struggles they have, I think is a valuable experience and asset to us to know their stories too. So I think in this case it's win-win, and we would love to spend time anyway. And currently we don't have so many fans. We have just over 50,000 on our Instagram. So it's totally okay for us for the moment. Maybe in the future when we have a lot more fans and more demands and we have to switch to other kind of rewards, different tiers. And for the moment we try and we see how it goes. If you have any questions regarding to the rewards and Patreon, let me know in a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Thank you very much for listening to me, and see you in the next video.